A very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Sharma Screen News.
Very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurarachi and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The statement pertaining to legislation on the supply of essential foods has been approved by a majority of 81 votes. A new Gazette notification relating to the supply of essential food items. Sri Lanka's first ever manufactured stock of saline is being distributed to hospitals. Inoculation of the COVID vaccine to persons between the ages of 20 and 29 years commences. Pioneer of group music Sunil Pereira bids farewell to the nation.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. The statement relating to legislation on the supply of essential foods imposed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the 30th of last month has been approved by a majority of 81 votes in Parliament today. 132 votes were cast in favour and 51 against. The draft bill on the amendment of the Consumer Affairs Authority relating to increasing of fines over selling of consumer items at a higher price and also on strengthening laws in this regard was also presented to Parliament today. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said that emergency laws could be gazetted at any instance by the President if it is necessary. He said that during the previous regime, emergency law had been brought even in the collapse of the garbage mountain. He said that there is no food shortage in the country, only a food mafia exists. The President has issued the Gazette notification to control food mafia. The opposition is making absurd charges on militarization. The minister has further said that in recent days, 847 protests has been conducted by the opposition and 106,000 people were on the roads. The President did not use even a pail of water to disperse the crowds. Traders have earned around 50 billion rupees by selling rice at exorbitant price. The new legislation will impose higher penalties for unfair profiteering.
සංවිධානය කරා 1,06,000ක් මිනිස්සු පාරට දැම්මා. තමුනාස්සලා ගෙනාපු එක උද්ඝෝෂණයකට එක වතුර බවුසර් එකක් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා පාවිච්චි කරේ නැහැ. එතුමාගේ බලතල පාවිච්චි කළා. අපේ රටේ නාඩු කිලෝ එකක් රුපියල් 125යි. අපේ රටේ සම්බ කිලෝ එකක් රුපියල් 150යි. අපේ රටේ කීරි සම්බ කිලෝ එකක් රුපියල් 225යි. රජයේ සහතික මිල කීයද? නාඩු කිලෝ එකක් 96යි, සම්බ කිලෝ එකක් 98යි, කීරි සම්බ 99යි. වී කිලෝ එක ගත්තේ 55ට අරගෙන 125ට නාඩු වික්කා. රුපියල් 60ට සම්බ අරගෙන 150ට සම්බ වික්කා. රුපියල් 60ට 65ට කීරි සම්බ අරගෙන 225ට කීරි සම්බ වික්කා. එක්කෙනෙක් එක කන්න එක බිලියන 50ක් ලාභ ලබන. සහතික මිල 97 නම් ඒක 125ට විකුණනකොට මොකද්ද අපි ආණ්ඩුව කරන්නේ? අපි පාරිභෝගික සේවා අධිකාරියේ පනත ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ඕනේ. මගේ ළඟ තියෙනවා ගරු කතානායකතුමනි පාරිභෝගික සේවක අධිකාරිය ආඥා පනත. මේක හදලා තියෙන්නේ මාෆියා එක. දැන් වැඩි මිලට හාල් වික්කම අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි අල්ලලා දඩ ගහනවා. කීයද දඩේ? රුපියල් 2500. දඩේ 2500. 2500 එක දඩේ ගහපුවම මූලයේ අයිතිකාරයා දඩේ ගෙවනවා. අපේ රටේ සීනි නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න
State Minister Janaka Vakumbara said that it was 125 rupees to produce 1 kilogram of sugar at the Sevanagala sugar factory, but they are providing a kilo of 120 rupees to government institutions.
නැවත වරක් ලංකාවේ හදන සීනි මොනම හේතුවක් නිසාවත් ලංකා සීනි සමාගමෙන් 1.75ක් වැඩි ගන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඊයේ පෙරේදා මේ සීනි කට්ටිය
Parliamentarian Ranjit Madduba Bandara said there were 600 containers of sugar in the harbour. All these containers were exempted from taxes and delay charges.
වරායට ආපු සීනි වලට
Minister Rohita Begunawardena said that all acquired sugar stocks are being sold to the people at lower prices through Sathosa and cooperative outlets. He also said that ships carrying sugar to the harbour will be exempted from charges.
ලබා දෙනවා නම් වරාය ගාස්තු නිදහස් කරන්න. මම නැවත ලිපියක් ලිව්වා. මම මේ ගාස්තු නිදහස් කරන්න නම් හැබැයි සියල්ලම සීනි එක ඇටයක්වත් එළියට යන්න බෑ. සීනි ඔක්කොම සතසදා සමුපකාර වලින් ඉතාම අඩු මුදලකට ජනතාවට ලබා දෙන්න. ඒක වැරදිද? ඒ කියන්නේ මද්දුම් බණ්ඩාර මහත්තයා ගැන 230ම කණ්ඩ සීනි. සීනි වලට සහ
Parliamentarian Anur Kumar Disanayake said that a maximum price for sugar and rice had been decided not suddenly but through the Consumer Authority Act number 9 of 2003.
ගබඩා කියලා වැටලුවෙත් කවුද? පාරිභෝගික අධිකාරී. සීල් තිබ්බේ කවුද? පාරිභෝගික අධිකාරී. යතුරු බාර දුන්න අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කොමසට. ඒකම දෙයක්. උපරිම මිල තීරණය කරලා තිබෙන්නේ පාරිභෝගික පනතේ. වැටලීම් කරලා තින්නේ පාරිභෝගික පනතේ. එන මොකද හදිසියකින් කරේ? 240ට 230.
State Minister Lasantha Lagiyavana said that the consumers are now able to purchase rice and sugar at much reduced prices. Rice could be sold between 95 and 98 rupees per kilo.
The Office of the Commissioner General of the Essential Services said that a Gazette notification has been issued on the supply of essential food items. The order has been validated according to the powers vested upon the President. The main objective of the notification is to prevent the occurrence of market irregularities which burden the consumer public with higher prices by means of holding of stocks of essential food items including paddy, rice and sugar. The order facilitates the process of purchasing in bulk quantities under the government's guaranteed price scheme or based on prices on customer imported goods and providing them to the people under reasonable prices. The Gazette notification focuses attention on the supply of essential items and maintenance of services as an urgent public need in the face of COVID pandemic. The Consumer Affairs Authority has raided a location where stocks of sugar were hidden in Blumendal today. Measures have been taken to distribute via the Satosa and the cooperatives 1,500 metric tons of sugar detected at the storage. A similar location where sugar was hoarded was also apprehended in Urgodavatta. Their Consumer Affairs Authority has taken into custody 5,500 metric tons of sugar hidden in this depot. Meanwhile, 4 storages where paddy stocks were hidden were subjected to inspection in Lankapura Divisional Secretariat Division in Polonnaruwa today. A case has been filed against an owner of a storage who had stockpiled paddy without receiving registration. A paddy storage has also been subjected to quarantine measures. 3 paddy storages in Galimbindunumava Divisional Secretariat Division, which have not been registered at the Paddy Marketing Board, were also apprehended by the Consumer Affairs Authority today. These storages in Yakalla, Gomarakalla and Mogodaveva have been sealed off. 3 paddy mills in Vaunia district, which had secretly stored 145 metric tons of paddy, have also been sealed off yesterday. These mills were located in Thandikulam, Asikulam and Kovilakulam in Vaunia. Consumer public in the Galle district have shown eager interest in purchasing essential food items from Satosa trade outlets. Measures have been taken to hand over to wholesale traders in the private sector the stocks of sugar taken over by the Commissioner General of Essential Services. The order is being implemented on the instructions of Minister of Trade Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. Under the program, a kilo of white sugar is being sold at the control price of 170 rupees and a kilo of brown sugar at the control price of 120 rupees. Relevant information in this connection could be obtained from the telephone numbers 0113 681 797 or through the WhatsApp number 0769 906 906.
And meanwhile, the chairman of State Medicinal Drugs Production Company, Dr. Utpala Indravanshu, has handed over a stock of saline manufactured for the first time in Sri Lanka to the Ministry of Health today. State Minister Professor Channa Jayasubada, receiving the stock, said that attempts to manufacture saline in Sri Lanka has been carried out since the year 2012. However, the authorities have failed in these endeavours. He added that the company at the Pallekele Industrial Park in Kandiv have commenced manufacturing of saline according to standards in collaboration with the state's drug corporation. The Ministry of Transport has taken measures to repair the dilapidated ambulances and to redeploy them for service. The Lakdiv Engineering Private Company under the Ministry of Transport is engaged in repairing. Moving to the local update of the COVID-19 pandemic, inoculations of persons between the age of 20 and 29 years in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Gool has commenced today at the locations where vaccination programs are already taking place. Only the residents in the relevant districts are allowed to engage in the inoculation process. A program in this connection was held at the Theatre Uina premises in Battaramulla today with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Army. Another program to inoculate persons between 20 to 29 years was held at the Campbell Park in Boralla today. Similar vaccination programs was conducted at the Kaduvela Medicinal Officer's Health Office as today, where around 1,500 vials has been inoculated. Another vaccination program was held at the Shalika grounds in Narahempita. The Information and Communication Technology Representative Institute says that reservation of appointments for inoculation on persons above the age of 20 years in the Western Province could be made through online and SMS services. The eligible citizens could register themselves over the website vaccine.covid19.gov.lk or sending an SMS to the number 1906. The information is also available over our website www.runews.lk. A program to inoculate persons above the age of 60 years in their residences was conducted at Mahayava, Kandy, Katugastota and surrounding areas today with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Army. $92,430 doses of the US-manufactured Pfizer vaccine were brought to the island at dawn today. $21,908,847 vaccine doses have so far been inoculated on people in the island under the COVID immunization program. 2,277,436 vaccine doses have been provided in the past 7 days. 58,994 vaccine doses have been inoculated yesterday. 2,245 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. Meanwhile, 1,952 patients left the hospitals today following complete recovery. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 180 COVID-19 related deaths yesterday. 133 out of this number belong to persons of 60 years of age and above. Further 40 victims were between the ages of 30 and 59 years and the remaining 7 victims were below the age of 30 years.
Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath informs persons between the ages of 20 to 30 years to get themselves inoculated without delay. He further says that the Ministry of Health has focused attention on the program to reopen the schools upon evaluation of the upcoming developments.
I would like to urge everyone above 30, especially above 60, if anyone who has not yet received the vaccine, please go to the nearest vaccination center and obtain your vaccine without any delay, because this is one of the most important aspects of prevention of complications and deaths due to COVID-19 infection. So in addition to that, I would like to request the age groups of between 20 and 30, when you are being called to get the vaccination from your nearest MOH office, to come to the nearest vaccination center at a given date on a particular time. Please go and obtain this vaccine without any delay. And there are so many misbeliefs and other kind of hesitancy for receiving of this vaccine earlier, but most of these things are now no longer there. But still, if anyone is having any doubt about getting the vaccine, please contact the nearest medical officer of health or any other health staff and get your doubts cleared and get the vaccine. The Ministry of Health is always prepared to give the necessary guidelines to open the schools. However, depending on the epidemiological situation of the country at a given time, the level of and the magnitude and the stringency of the health guidelines will be different. Therefore, even at any moment, we can open the schools by adhering to different level of health guidelines. However, there are so many practical situations that we have to experience or undergo when we are going to open schools, when there is high presence of infection in a given area at a given time. In addition to that, what is most important at a given time, if the health guidelines are issued to mitigate and functions the school the way that we want, there has to be enough resources, enough infrastructure to adhere to such guidelines. So we would like to urge all stakeholders, including the school authorities, education authorities, parents, children, and those who are involved in the transporting students, to make sure, prepare your plans so that once it is declared that schools are open, rather than facing problems at that moment, plan today and make sure that there will be smooth operation of schools or functioning of schools once it is open.
Sri Lankans and fans around the world mourns the loss of musician Sunil Pereira. The final rites of the remains of the veteran singer was conducted at the General Cemetery, Borella today. The late artist is regarded as a pioneer in the Sri Lankan music scene and lead singer of popular band Gypsies. The funeral was held with the participation of a limited number of family relatives. Sunil Pereira was 68 years old at the time of his demise. He had received residential hospital treatment last month due to an affliction of COVID-19 disease. Although he had returned home following recovery, the disease symptoms had surfaced once again around 2 to 3 days ago. As a result, the late popular singer was admitted to a private hospital. When his disease condition turned worse, he was admitted to the intensive care unit where he passed away at dawn today. Sunil Pereira received education from St. Sebastian's College, Moratuwa and St. Peter's College, Colombo. Upon conclusion of school education, he joined in the year 1969 the Gypsies music group, which was started by his father. The immensely populated hits of the 70s decade, including Linadanga Sangame, Amma Amma, Kurumitto, Oye Ojaye, Signore, Loe Sema, Saima Katvela, Pitikota Pangnone and Uncle Johnson remain in the hearts of music fans even today. The late Sunil Pereira had sung songs in fashion inherent to himself. He had also contributed extensively for the propagation of Baila music in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's first non-stop cassette, Jolier, was one of his creations. A special feature of his music profession had been to bring out social and political matters in a hilarious manner. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa expressed his condolences on the passing away of veteran singer Sunil Pereira, who had created a revolution in group music. The president has recorded a message in his official Facebook and Twitter accounts. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has also issued a condolence message on the demise of the singer Sunil Pereira. The Prime Minister in his message stated that the excellent music performance by Sunil Pereira as a singer and a veteran in the field of music has created an unforgettable memory in the hearts of Sri Lankan public. Australia's Assistant Minister for Customs, Community Safety and Multicultural Affairs, Jason Wood, has also paid tribute to Sri Lanka's legendary musician, late Sunil Pereira. He further said that the late singer was a regular visitor to Australia and performed to packed crowds every time he performed in the country.
And meanwhile, former Minister Richard Badurdin, who is the fifth suspect in the case of burning to death of a minor female child while engaging in domestic service in the residence of the suspect, was produced before the Colombo Magistrates Court today. Thereafter, he was once again placed under detention. The case on the death of 16-year-old domestic aide at Richard Badurdin's residence, Jude Kumar Shalini, was taken up for hearing before Colombo Additional Magistrate Rajendra Jayasuriya today. The other suspect of the case were the wife of the father-in-law of Richard Badurdin and other suspect of the case. The magistrate had ordered to further remand the suspect until the 17th of this month. A cousin brother of former Minister Mohammed Smythe and broker Ponnaiya Panduram, who had brought the deceased child to the Badurdin's residence, have been also released on bail.
The Sri Lankan Airlines is to resume flights to the French capital Paris from the 1st of November this year. The Sri Lankan Airlines said that it would commence thrice weekly non-stop flights to France every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday using a fleet of Airbus A330-300 aircraft configured for 269 economy and 28 business class seats. The flight time is around 11 hours and 25 minutes and the flight UL 563 is scheduled to depart Colombo at 0:35 hours and arrive in Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport at 7:30 hours. The return air flight UL 564 is scheduled to depart Paris on the same day at 2:30 hours and arrive in Colombo at 5:20 the next day.
President of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Minister Professor GLPD says that the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has been invited to address the first session of a high-level international conference in Europe. Minister Professor GLPD said that the session is scheduled to commence in Italy next week. He added that the Prime Minister is conducting talks with the President of the European Parliament David Sassoli and the Italian Prime Minister Mario Rani over the possibility of delivering the keynote addresses at this prestigious occasion. State Minister Shehan Semasinga said that European Union's economic activities carried out since the year 2015 has contributed to the economic burden faced by the masses today. State Minister Shehan Semasinga at a media briefing at the Department of Government Information today said that during the period of presidency of Mahinda Rajapaksa, the economic strength in the country had been increased to 80 billion rupees from 20 billion rupees. However, after the year 2015 to 2019, the economic expansion was only $4 billion.
ආර්ථිකයේ වටිනාකම ඩොලර් බිලියන 20යි. හැබැයි මේ අර්බුද සියල්ල හමුවේ මහින්ද
The island-wide cultivations using organic fertilizer have yielded successful results. Large number of farmers of Uwa Paranagama Badulla are engaged in the vegetable and tea cultivation using organic fertilizer and liquid fertilizer manufactured in the area. State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa has inspected an organic manure production plant in Valimada. A resident farmer, B.S. Ekanaika, has elevated his small-time organic manufacturing unit into a large-scale production centre. The incumbent bhikkhus at the Atula Nandana Rama Vihara in Gaul had created a prosperous vegetable and fruit garden in Vihara premises using only organic fertilizer. A project plant 5,000 Guinea plants in Moragakanda Mahaveli zone has commenced recently with the assistance of 405 farmers. Guinea is being to enhance the quality of organic fertilizer.
South Korea supports for rural development in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the South Korean ambassador in Sri Lanka, Santus Boonjin has recently held a discussion with the State Minister of Samurdhi, Household Economy, Microfinance, Self-Employment and Business Development, Shehan Semasinga, via Zoom on a wide range of areas, including avenues to increase the collaboration of rural development cooperation between South Korea and Sri Lanka. Ambassador Santosh said that following the recent constructive meeting with the Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa, he has observed that the Vinaguma project and the Syamol ongoing movement, which is South Korea's New Village initiative, share many common traits.
India is looking to strengthen its military ties with Sri Lanka as a part of its neighbouring first policy. An international collaboration on visit to India has been initiated for Sri Lanka Armed Forces officers at the Defence Services Command and Staff College. The Indian High Commissioner in Colombo says the visit reflects of India's unwavering commitment to positively contributing towards overall capacity building, including personality development of the Sri Lanka Armed Forces personnel. The delegation of 39 officers will not only be exposed to the functioning of all three service headquarters at New Delhi, but also get themselves familiarized with routine of tri-services field formations. Several interactions with top armed forces officials and visits to various industrial and cultural sites have also been scheduled during the visit. The tour has been facilitated by High Commissioner of India in Colombo.
And with that sports update, we are going to conclude tonight's news. Do adjust tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.